Now see, this is ABCD. This is one transmission network. We have to find what are the ABCD constants of this transmission network. Yes, I'm audible. Can you listen to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, thank you. So see, what we do first, we first provide the source in the sending end side. We always provide source in the sending end side. And we measure the voltage, current. Also, we connect the wattmeter so that we can find out the angle between the voltage and the current. Okay. So that if we calculate the impedance is V by I, so that we can get the angle also, because we have to know the angle between V and I. Okay. And what is the first step? First step is to keep the receiving end open. Okay. When we keep the receiving end open, this V and this I will give Z, value of Z, and that is termed as ZSO. Okay, sending end impedance, because we are getting the sending end impedance by dividing the voltage at the sending end by the current in the sending end. So this is the sending end impedance, and what this O represents with receiving end open. Okay. Then what we do? We short circuit the receiving end and we measure again the sending end impedance. So it will change, of course. So that is termed as ZSS, sending end impedance with receiving end short circuited. First, we find out these two parameters. So what we get? We get here ZSO equal to Vs by Is. When this is open circuit test, receiving end open, IR equal to 0, and receiving end short, VR equal to 0, Vs by Is, it gives ZSS. And we know this equation. So when IR equal to 0, A equal to Vs by VR. When when VR equal to 0, this D will be equal to Is by IR. Okay. So ZSO, we are getting Vs by Is. So by dividing Vs by Is, what we get? We get A by C for open circuit test, because these two are becoming 0. And by short circuit test, these terms will become 0, and B by S we get B by R, B by D. Okay. So ZSO equal to A by C, ZSS equal to B by D. Okay. You can understand. We have to get 4 equations. 2 equations are not sufficient. Then what we do? We give the supply to the receiving end. Okay, now we reverse it. We give the supply to the receiving end, keeping the sending end first open, then making the sending end short circuited. So what is that term? If we give supply here, we'll measure the receiving end impedance by, though this is not the receiving end now, but we'll term this one as S always and term this one as R always. Okay, whatever quantity measured this side, we'll tell receiving end. Though the supply is provided here, but we'll consider this one as receiving end. Okay. So first, then what we do? We connect all these equipment in this side and measure the and give the supply to this end. 1 minute, someone is trying to join. Okay. So we are giving supply to the receiving end and measuring that impedance. First, keeping the sending end open, that will give ZRO. It is the receiving end impedance with sending end open. Then we make the sending end short circuited and again measure this VR by IR. That is termed as ZRS, receiving end impedance with sending end short circuited. Okay. But of course, these equations cannot be applied, because these are the equations for the sending end side, Vs and Is, in terms of VR and IR. Now we have to rearrange this one. We have to get the equations for VR and IR in terms of Vs and Is. In the last class or in the previous class, I have shown you that if you rearrange this one, you will get this equation. You please go through previous class notes. You will get this equation. What is this? VR equal to dVs minus BIS, IR equal to minus CVS plus AIS. This is the equation we are getting when we want to find out VR and IR in terms of VS and IS. Now, what is the difference? You can see when we give supply to the sending end, IS is considered this entering and IR is considered living. Of course, when some load or short, which is short circuited. And when we give supply in this side, the currents will be changed. We'll consider IR to be entering, IS to be leaving. Okay. So this IR and IS, the signs of the currents will change. If you have plus IS, you have to write minus IS. Okay. So though you are getting this equation, but since the direction of sending in current according to the above equation enters the network, whereas while performing the test on receiving end side, the direction of the current will be leaving the network. So you have to change the direction of the currents, because while writing the equations for the generalized constants, we have considered IS to be entering, IR to be leaving. Here just the opposite, IS will be leaving, IR will be entering. So here only one term current, one term with current, that means so this one will be plus. So VR will be DVS plus BIS. Here this is one term with current, so this will be minus. Again, this one will also be minus because this is IS. So the equation, second equation will be this one. Cancelling out the minus signs, will get this equation. So when we are giving supply to the receiving end, our equations are this one and this one. Now the other things are exactly equal. When the sending end is open circuited, this IS will become 0. Okay. So what you will have? VS by IR, you will have D by C, isn't it? So VS by, sorry, not VS, VR by IR, you will have D by C, isn't it? Because these will be 0 as sending end side is open circuited. So that is actually termed as Z arrow. Again, with sending end side short circuited, what we will have VS, and these VS terms will be 0. So VR and IR will be B by A, and that is termed as ZRS. Okay. So our equations are now this equation and this equation. So we are getting Z arrow and ZRS. So now we are actually getting 4 equations. Okay. So what are the equations? ZSO equal to A by C, because you can measure ZSO. These are actually you are measuring this ZSO, ZSS. You have to measure this VS, IS. Also you have to take the angle. Okay. So these you are measuring ZSO, ZSS. Also you are measuring by reversing the supply terminals. You are also measuring this Z arrow and ZRS. So these 4 terms are known to you, and you have 4 unknowns ABCD. So you can easily find out. They are found out in this way. You can find out any other way. So Z arrow and ZRS. What you have got? B by C minus B by A. Okay. In the numerator, you will have AD minus BC. This is equal to 1. So 1 by AC. Now, if we divide this ZRO minus ZRS by, say, by ZSO. SO is in the upper part. What is ZSO? ZSO is A by C. So, if you divide this term by A by C, if you divide this one by A by C, it will be C by A. So C will cancel. This will become A square only. So only one variable. So what will be A? A will be root over ZSO by ZRO minus ZRS. So as soon as you have got this term, you can easily find out what are the other terms, because see here, A is now known. You can find out B, A into ZRS. So you can find out what is B, A into ZRS. You can find out what is C. You can find out what is C from here. C equal to A by ZSO. And D also you can find out by B by ZSS, or by from this equation also you can find out. Okay. So all the 4 terms A, B, C, D, R can be found out, and not only the magnitude, also with the angles. Okay. So is it clear, all of you, how to measure ABCD constants?
Clear, ma'am.
Okay. Please go through it. You will perform this experiment in the next semester. Now let us discuss the rest portions of this long transmission line. Now you know the voltage and current waveforms, they can be considered as traveling waves. Okay. as we are considering the performance of transmission lines, so we will consider the phenomena of this voltage and current wave as traveling waves in transmission lines. Okay. Why they are called, they can be considered as traveling waves? You can understand traveling, when the term traveling is coming, that means the waves are taking certain time to travel. Okay, why they are taking time? You see, in long transmission lines, the long transmission lines are like this. If we are lossless, we are considering lossless transmission lines. Okay, so this is L, this is C, this is again another LC. All are distributed throughout the length of the line. They are not concentrated. So what happens? Suppose the switch is closed. As soon as the switch is closed, what happens? This L1, this will act as open circuit, you know. It will take some time for the current to flow through it. And as long as it is the current is not passing through this L, this C1 cannot be charged. Okay, so it will act as short circuit. So gradually the voltage is developed. So you can understand that gradually the current will pass, gradually the voltage will develop, and unless the voltage is developed across it, this cannot be charged. The subsequent capacitances cannot be charged unless the current flows through the successive inductances. So what happens? It takes some time. Okay, so it is just like when you open the valve in a pipe, on a water pipe, what will happen? That water instantaneously will not reach the end. It will take some time to travel from the sending end to the receiving end. Okay, maybe the time is very short. It is just like this. Okay, so the whole thing is very nicely written here. You please go through it. Okay, see, when the switch S is closed, the inductance acts as open circuit and C1 acts as short circuit instantaneously. The same instant, the next section cannot be charged because the voltage across capacitor C1 is 0. So unless the capacitor C1 is charged to some value whatsoever, charging of the capacitor C2 through L2 is not possible, which of course will take some time. Okay. Now we will calculate the time. Okay, taken by the traveling wave for transmission. Okay, so time means we'll find the velocity of the traveling wave. That means what is the distance traveled by the traveling wave in 1 second. So for that, what we do? Suppose that the wave after time t has traveled through a distance x. Okay, so since we have assumed lossless lines, whatsoever is the value of voltage and current waves at the start, they remain same throughout the travel. Consider a distance dx which is traveled by the waves in time dt. Now you know the electrostatic flux is associated with the voltage wave and electromagnetic flux with the current wave. The electrostatic flux, which is equal to the charge between the conductors of the line up to a distance x, is given by Q equal to VCX. Okay. C is the capacitor per unit length. So you have to multiply it by X. Okay. What is X? X is the distance traveled by the traveling wave in time t. So the electrostatic, first we find the charge, and you know what will be the current? Current will be equal to dq dt. The current in the conductor is determined by the rate of flow of charge. So I equal to dq dt. So you can understand V and C, these are common. So it is dx dt. Okay. Now dx dt can be considered as the velocity because x is the time, t is the distance. So dx dt is actually the velocity of the traveling wave. Now this we have determined from electrostatic flux. Okay, now we will find the electromagnetic flux because both electrostatic and electromagnetic fluxes will be there because there is inductance and capacitance. Okay, before going to that, we can replace this dx dt by small v, that is the velocity of the traveling wave. Similarly, electromagnetic flux linkages created around the conductors due to the current flowing, flowing in them up to a distance x, due to the current I flowing in them up to a certain distance. This is psi. The flux linkage is IL into x. L into x is actually the total inductance up to distance x. So the voltage again, what is the voltage? You know the voltage is IL into d psi dt. Actually the voltage is d psi dt. So if you find the d psi dt, you will get IL is common dx dt. So it is ILV. So we have now two equations from the electrostatic flux. We have the equation I equal to capital V, C small v. From the electromagnetic flux linkage, we have capital V equal to IL into small v. Okay. So now what we can do? We can divide, we can multiply, we can divide first. Let's divide this V by I. If we divide this V by I, in the numerator you have ILV, denominator you have VCV. So ILV, VCV. So this I and V, we separate it out. Small v velocity will cancel out. Ultimately, L by C will be remaining. So if we take this V this side, this I this side, it will be V square by I square equal to L by C, or V by I equal to root over L by C. That is actually the natural impedance of the line. You can see this is another derivation. This expression is actually ohms. V by I will get it in ohms. So the expression is a ratio of voltage to current which has the dimension of impedance and is therefore designated as surge impedance of the line that we have already discussed. It is also known as the natural impedance because this impedance has nothing to do with the load impedance. Okay, it is dependent on the parameters of the line. It is purely characteristic of the transmission line. This will not connect. The value impedance is about 400 ohms for overhead lines in the transmission line. And 40 ohms for cables. Why? For cables, the epsilon is higher. Okay. So you can know what is L? 2 pi into the 2 into 10 to the power 7 ln into d by r dash, and C also, you know, from there you consider any r dash, you consider approximately equal to r. So it will be independent of the radius. Ultimately, you will have some constant terms. Okay, you will have the value will be approximately 400 ohms. So you can check. Okay, and for cables, it will depend upon the permittivity of the material. So it will be different. Now here we have divided. Let's multiply. Let's multiply this equation and this equation. So what you will have in the left hand side, you have VI. In the right hand side, you have VC into IL into V square. So you can understand left hand side also VI, right hand side also VI. So VI will cancel. You will get this equation. Okay, this VI will cancel and small v equal to 1 by root over LC. So can you understand? This is the velocity of the line. So what is the velocity of the line? Velocity of the traveling wave. It is equal to 1 by root over LC. Now, as I have told you, L and C are fixed for transmission lines. So we can replace this L by this formula, though here it will be not R but R dashed, but we have approximated it considering R. So this R and this R, this LND by R, LND by R, this will cancel out because L into C, ultimately what will be remaining? Remaining will be 2 pi epsilon into 2 into 10 to the power minus 7. So it is constant term. Epsilon, you know, the value for epsilon will be epsilon 0. So ultimately, the equation has been shown, the derivation has been shown, it has been found that it is exactly equal to the velocity of the line. Okay, so it has been derived. Okay, the derivation for the velocity of propagation of traveling waves has been shown. You derive the velocity, find out the value for the surge impedance of the transmission line. Okay. So the velocity of the traveling wave in transmission lines is exactly equal to the velocity of the line under ideal condition, but it does not always remain exactly equal to the velocity of the line because there is some resistance, there is some leakage in the lines. Okay, but if not mentioned otherwise, you have to consider it 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second. Now, for cables, the conductor is surrounded by dielectric medium, so epsilon r is greater than 1. It is not equal to 1 as in overhead transmission lines. So the velocity of the waves over cables is smaller than that of overhead lines. Okay, so because this value will have, this epsilon will have some value. Okay, so epsilon r will have some value. Other or if epsilon will have some value other than epsilon naught. Okay. Understood up to this? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is
Yes, ma'am.
actually a completely new concept. Yes, thank you. So please go through it. Okay. Now, velocity, wavelength, velocity of propagation you have found it is equal to the velocity of the light. Now, what is the wavelength? The definition of the wavelength is that it is a particular value of the length of the line for which voltage or current waves undergo phase shift of 2 pi radians. You know, you have studied about that alpha and beta. Okay, for unit distance, that is phase shift of beta radian that we have discussed, and that is magnitude attenuation of alpha that we have discussed. So what is beta? For beta is the phase shift which occurs for unit distance, okay, in the voltage or current waveform. Okay, so it is the traveling wave. Okay, so the phase shift per unit distance is beta. Now, what is wavelength? It is the distance when the phase shift, distance of the or the length of the line when the phase shift is 2 pi radians. Okay, so for unit distance, the phase shift is beta radians. So when the 2 pi radians will occur, you will multiply that lambda into beta, then we will get that is equal to 2 pi. Okay, because beta is the phase shift per unit length, and that if you multiply this one by the length lambda, it will become lambda beta, and from the definition, when the length is lambda, it is equal to phase shift equal to 2 pi. So lambda beta equal to 2 pi. Okay. Now express, let us find out the value for lambda. So lambda from here you are getting 2 pi by beta. From the definition only you are getting 2 pi by beta. Okay. Now the velocity of propagation, how it is coming lambda f, because you know f is the frequency of the line. Okay. So from the frequency you can, you know that for f cycles, the number of cycles in 1 second is f. So what is the time taken for one cycle? Time taken for one cycle is 1 by f. Okay. So 1 cycle means actually the phase shift is 2 pi radian. So in 1 by f second, the phase shift is 2 pi radian. Understood? So in 1 second, 1 by f second, the cycle is single cycle. So in 1 by f second, the phase shift is 2 pi radian, because one cycle means 2 pi radians. Okay. Now, according to the definition, that 2 pi radian phase shift occurs in lambda distance. So 1 by f second, the traveling wave must travel through lambda distance. So in 1 second, you can find out then it is traveling through lambda f second. Okay. So if in 1 second it travels through lambda f second, actually that is the definition for the velocity. In 1 second, how much distance it is traveling. So Vp equal to lambda f. So from there you can find out lambda, you substitute 2 pi. So 2 pi f by beta, 2 pi f again equal to omega. So it is omega by beta. Okay. You can express this velocity in any way. If you actually A and C are given, you can use 1 by root LC. If lambda f is given, you can use this equation. If beta is given, you can use this equation. We'll solve some problems and we'll see. But these relations you must remember. So now the velocity of propagation of voltage and current waves is 3 into 10 to the power 8. So we can easily find out what is lambda, because f is known, is Vp is known. We can easily find out lambda for overhead transmission lines. So lambda f equal to this one. Substitute the value for f. If it is 50 hertz, then it is 6,000 kilometer. Okay. So if the line is of length 6,000 kilometer, then a phase shift of 2 pi radian will occur. That means voltage at the sending end of the line and at the receiving end of the line of length 6,000 kilometer, will the phase angle difference will be 2 pi. But in actual practice, the transmission line cannot be of such huge length. Okay, then there will be voltage drop, stability problem, lots of problems are there. So in practice, the length of the transmission line is only a fraction of the wavelength at 50 hertz. Okay, so it never occurs that there is phase shift of 2 pi. We'll find, okay, before going to this problem, the phase shift actually is very less. For short transmission line, the phase shift is 5 degree. For medium transmission line, the phase shift is 15 degree approximately. That is called the electrical length of the line. What is the electrical length of the line? A transmission line may be electrically long or short. Electrically short line indicates that beta air is of shorter angle. Actually, electrical length um, is the phase shift in the line. Okay, of the phase shift of the voltage and the current waves. In short transmission lines, we consider phase shift is 5 degree. So if the phase shift is 5 electrical degree, from here let us find out what is the length of the line. So beta L is the phase shift, because for unit distance phase shift is beta. For L, this L length of the line, phase shift will be beta L. So this is in radian converted into degree. So we get 5 degrees. So what is the length of the line? You find out the length of the line. You will be coming as, it will be coming as this one. So 83.33 kilometer. So you can understand, that's why we consider this short transmission line as approximately 80 kilometer, or in some books we can get it up to, anybody trying to join? No. Or in we can consider it up to 100. This approximation is actually coming from here. Again, for medium transmission line, the phase shift is 15 electrical degree. Same way you can find out that it is coming as 250. That's why we told that up to 250 kilometer we can consider medium transmission line. But in many cases, above 150, 160 kilometer, the lines are considered, the parameters are considered as distributed parameters. Okay. So let us go back. Okay, we'll discuss the problems later on. Let us another term. Let us discuss, that is the tuned power lines. Okay, what is tuned power lines? Actually, tuned power lines are the lines where the sending end and the receiving end voltages are equal. Equal means only the magnitudes are equal. Okay, and also the magnitude of the sending end current and the receiving end currents are equal. Clear? So when this is possible, this is called tuned power lines. Now let us see how this is possible. See, if we consider lossless line, then we neglect this R. If we neglect this R, then Y becomes j omega L, j omega C, and Z becomes simply j omega L. Okay, normally it is R plus j omega L, but we neglecting R, it becomes j omega L. So gamma transformed into j omega, we take it outside root over LC. So in the generalized constants, we have hyperbolic terms, in long transmission lines. So hyperbolic terms, they are converted into simply trigonometrical cos and sine, because we have discussed cos hyperbolic jx equal to cos x. So these two terms are getting transferred like this. And what is Vs and Is? Instead of hyperbolic terms, we have this one. This is the generalized equation. Okay, just instead of cos h and sin h, we are having these terms because we have neglected R. Now, can you see that if by any means this sin omega L, whatever the term is inside this sine, that becomes 0. That means sine of this one becomes 0. Then we'll have Vs equal to simply this term into Vr. Okay. So let us consider that if omega L root over LC, every term is containing omega L root over LC, is equal to n pi, where n is a integer, 1, 2, 3, etc. So if omega L root over LC becomes n pi, where n is an integer, you can understand that all the sine terms will be 0. This will be 0, this will be 0. Okay. And the cosine terms, it may be 1, it may be minus 1. Okay. But whatever may be the case, it may be 1, maybe -1, but the magnitude will remain same, because when omega root over LC equal to n pi, this term is getting 0. What is VA? VS equal to VR into this one. This one is either 1 or -1. So either Vs equal to Vr or Vs equal to -Vr, but magnitude of Vs is always equal to magnitude of Vr. Similarly, for this one, second expression, this term is getting 0. So Is is becoming IR into this one. This may be 1 or -1. But magnitude of Is is always equal to magnitude of IR. Okay. So in tuned power lines, the magnitude of voltage and current in the sending end and receiving ends are equal. Okay. And let us find out what is the length of the line. Say n is 1. Then omega L root over LC equal to pi. So what will be L? L equal to, if n equal to 1, and first let us consider some value of n. So L is actually equal to n pi by omega root LC. Omega means 2 pi f. Again, substituting this 1 by root LC equal to V, the velocity of the light, because we know what is V. We can directly put the value of V as 3 into 10 to the power 8. In the numerator, instead of this one, we can put the value 3 into 10 to the power 3 into 10 to the power 8. Or you can substitute this velocity by lambda, whatever you wish. And you will get for different values of n. For n equal to 1, you will get 3000. For n equal to 2, you will get 6000. N equal to 3, you will get 9000, like that. So the length of the line may be half of the wavelength. It may be equal to the wavelength. It may be equal to 1.5 times the wavelength, like that. But such huge length of the line is not possible. I told you earlier also. So the tuned transmission line is not possible. How it is tuned? It is tuned by adding extra L or C, or the line may be subdivided into different portions, and some series capacitors, inductors, shunt capacitors, etc. are added to make the line a tuned transmission line. So it is nicely written here. It is too long a distance of transmission line from the viewpoint of cost efficiency. Okay. So length for a given line, length and frequency. For a given line, the length and frequency tuning can be achieved by increasing L or C, by adding series inductances or shunt capacitances at several places along the line. Okay. So for practical method of improving line regulation and power transfer capacity is to add series capacitors to reduce line inductance, shunt capacitors under heavy load conditions, and shunt inductors under light load condition. You know, light load means capacitive reactive power is becoming high, so you have to consume some reactive power with the help of inductors. Okay, so and a long line is divided into several sections which are individually tuned. It is not like that the line length is of 3000 kilometers and it is automatically becoming a tuned transmission line. Okay. So you please go through this one. These are very important to get the concept. Okay. Because in the next semester you will have detailed discussion, I think, on long transmission, on traveling wave phenomena, the reflection occurring at the receiving end of the transmission line, all many things are there. Okay, now let us go through some problems only. The problems are very simple if you remember or understand the terminologies. Okay, what is given here? I will not discuss in details. It is just formula based, nothing else. F is given 60 hertz, 500 kV line voltage, length is 300 kilometer, inductance per unit distance, capacitance per unit distance are given. You have to find out beta, surge impedance, ZC, velocity of propagation, and lambda, wavelength. Okay. In the first part, second part I will come later on. So, as R is not given, we will consider it to be lossless line, only L and C are given. So what is actually, you need to find out beta. You know beta is actually the imaginary part of gamma. So what is gamma? Gamma is root over YZ. So there is no real term. So this whole thing will be beta equal to omega root LC. So L, C, omega, all are given. You can find out beta. Don't forget to write the unit. Otherwise, maybe 50% marks can maybe deducted. Okay, this is very important. Surge impedance, it is root over L by C. L and C are given, and its unit will be ohms. Velocity of propagation is 1 by root LC. You know, though you know the velocity of propagation is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, but you have to derive it. It may not come exactly equal to 3. Okay. So all these things you have found out. Now lambda, what is lambda? V equal to lambda F. You know the expression, so you can find out easily lambda. Now what is the second part? Receiving and power is given, voltage is given. So you know you can find out receiving and current also. Voltage you consider it 500 into 10 cube by root 3. And current you can find out. So you have to determine the sending end quantities and voltage regulation. Okay, this VR is this one. IR you can find out what is the sending end quantities. Sending end quantities, you know, gamma is actually becoming equal to what? Gamma is actually J. Actually, gamma is equal to J beta only. See, it is equal to J beta. J omega root LC. So you can understand cos H J omega root LC actually becomes cos of beta. Okay, because that is no real term. So instead of this hyperbolic terms, you are getting cosine sign. Actually, this is the generalized equation A VR plus BIR. A is this one, B is this one. Hope you remember. Okay. Now you calculate cos beta L, calculate sin beta L. L is known to you, and find out IR, VR, all unknown. You take VR as reference, is find out the sending end voltage. Similarly, find out the sending end current. Okay, this you can find out, but please solve this by yourself. Otherwise, you may know everything, but ultimately during calculation, you may make some mistake. So it's very important to solve it. And voltage regulation, I've discussed many times that voltage regulation, you can find out the no load receiving end voltage was simply Vs by A. So you can find out the regulation. Okay. If you don't understand this one, please go through your last class notes. You'll be able to understand. I have discussed several times this VRNL. Now, in this problem, there is no R. Okay. So real term of gamma is not there. Next, we'll consider one problem where both the resistance and inductance are present. See, the line series impedance is this one. It is not 90 degree. That means there is some resistance. Okay, so in finding out gamma, you will find both the real and imaginary terms, root over yz. You can find out, you will get this term. Okay, so this will be actually beta. So beta is actually 2.204 10 to the power minus 3. Let us see what they have asked to find out. Find the wavelength, that is lambda, and velocity of propagation. And lambda is dependent on beta. It is 2 pi by beta. Okay, both in radian. So you will get this one, and as soon as you get this lambda, you can find out the velocity of propagation, lambda into f. Okay, so this is the problem. Now then another problem. How many problems I have? This one. Okay, this is the last problem. So here a transmission line having inductive reactance, this one and this one. So again you have, don't have any resistance. So length of the line given, you have to find all the constants, Z, C, gamma, ABCD parameters, lambda and SIL. So just you know the L is given, C is given. So you can find out ZC as root over L by C. You can find out gamma. Alpha is not there, so it is simply J omega root LC. To find out gamma, to find out gamma from, if you know gamma, then the imaginary term is only there, so it is equal to beta. So find out beta. If you know if the propagation constant is actually gamma, so what will be gamma? Gamma equal to J beta. So this is equal to propagation constant. Okay. If you are asked to write out gamma, you have to write out as J of this one. Okay. If alpha is not there, but if you are asked to find out beta, you should not write it J, because we call gamma as alpha plus J beta. Okay. And then you find out ABCD constants. In ABCD constants, it is becoming simple because this only imaginary term, so this cos hyperbolic is getting transformed into cos function. Similarly, sin hyperbolic is getting transformed into sine function. So find out these values. ZC also you can find out root over L by C. So all the constants you can find out, and then wavelength is V by F, and then what else? CL you have this, you can find out using this formula also. Root 3 VL square or 3 V phase square. Okay, this we have discussed in the last class. I think while discussing this SIL. Yes, line voltage in kV whole square by surge impedance. Okay, this is a surge impedance loading of the line. Line voltage means actually root 3 of the phase voltage. So root 3 square means 3 and the phase voltage square. That formula I have written here. If it is in kV, we'll get this one in megawatt. Okay. So that's all about long transmission lines. Is it clear, all of you?
Clear, ma'am.
Hello. So it is very important. Again, I am repeating. Please go through it carefully. Okay. But I will discuss the last topic today only. I don't think I will require any more classes after today. So you can discuss with your friends, and if you find any problem anywhere, we can arrange for another meet. Okay, to discuss about on your confusions. Anyway, so the last topic remaining, though it is very small topic, but it is a completely different topic. It is the interference between the power and communication lines. Okay, you know the communication lines, these run in close proximity with the power lines, telephone lines, cable lines. And so what happens, there is interference due to the currents flowing in the power lines. Okay, let us find out what type of interference are there. Now see, we will consider three-phase line. Okay, see, power line is three-phase. So three-phase power line, say A, B and C. Okay, it may be symmetrical, maybe unsymmetrical. In most cases it is unsymmetrical. And to equalize the effects, you know, we do transposition. And let us consider that these two are the communication lines, P and Q. They lie in close proximity with the power lines. So the effect will be both electrostatic and electromagnetic. Okay. So what we do? We'll consider the effect on these conductor P and Q due to the currents IA, IB and IC in the power lines. Okay. One is electromagnetic, another is electrostatic. So the electromagnetic induction. What is the flux linkage in this conductor P due to the currents in all these power line conductors? Remember, these are the power line conductors and this is the communication line conductors. 2 communication line conductors, 3 power line conductors. So the distance you have to measure, okay, between this P and all these 3 lines. So you know the flux linkage in the conductor P due to the currents in all A, B and C of the power lines is this one. Okay, if you have forgotten, you go through that line parameters, calculation of inductance, you will find when the conductors are arranged in the form of an array, this is the equation. That means distance of the current carrying conductor from P, then distance from the current carrying conductor B from P, then distance of current carrying conductor C from P. Similarly, if we consider conductor Q, you have to consider the distance of all the power lines from the conductor Q. So here it will be Q. Now the net flux linkage in the communication lines will be phi P minus phi Q. We can understand because the flux linkage, if it is in this way, this will be this way. So it is psi p minus psi q. So this one by this one, ultimately you will, this one will go to the numerator, you will get this expression. Okay, Ia into ln, distance of q from A, distance of P from A, plus Ib into distance of q from B, distance of P from B, plus Ic ln, distance of q from C, distance of P from C. It is Weber turn per meter. We have to find in per meter everything. Now EMF induced in the communication line is 2 pi f epsilon. Okay, so this is actually the EMF induced in the communication lines due to the current flowing in the power lines. The magnitude of the flux linkages and the induced EMF greatly depend on balanced or unbalanced nature of currents. Okay, so when the currents are balanced, this is very negligible. The induced EMF is very small. The net flux linkages and induced EMF is very small. It can be shown that if power line is transposed and the current is balanced, the net flux linkage are zero when the power lines are balanced. When the power line is not transposed, some EMF is induced in the communication line even if the current is balanced. You can understand if transposition is not there due to the asymmetrical spacing. Now, if the currents become unbalanced, severe unbalancing occurs when there is single line to ground fault. Okay. So, in that condition, that voltage induced in the communication line may be huge. Communication line may be huge. And also, if we consider harmonics present in the line, then that Ia plus Ib plus Ic is not zero. Okay, because they are in the same phase. Okay, so if harmonics are present, especially the third harmonic, then there can be also considerable amount of voltage induced in the communication lines. Now let us see that I told when the power lines are proposed, what happens. Why the transposition of powered lines is not enough to eliminate the interference. That we'll discuss now. Suppose the power lines are balanced. So, you know the transposition means in the first 1/3 cycle, if the positions are fixed x, y, z, A will occupy position x, B position y, C position x. In the next 1/3 cycle, C will occupy position X, A will occupy position Y, B will occupy position Z. And last 1/3 cycle, they will occupy the remaining positions. So, what is this psi 1? Let us consider psi 1 is the flux linkage in conductor P, in the first conductor of the communication line. For this position of the power line, it is just like this. Okay, you can understand. We have discussed this one. For the next position, this will change. Okay, because A1, in the first case, it will be X1. In the second case, it will be Y1. In the third case, it will be Z1. Okay, these are the distances from the conductor A, of the conductor P, first communication conductor from this conductor A. This is the distance of the first communication conductor from B, and like that. Okay. So for 3 positions of the power line, we have 3 flux linkages, and you know, to find out the average, we have to divide it by 3. So this is actually the flux linkage in first communication line due to the transposed power lines. Okay. Similarly, for the next communication line, we consider this as psi 2. Instead of P and Q, we have considered 1 and 2. So we have this one. Now we have what is the total? Total is psi 1 minus psi 2, just like this. Psi P minus psi Q we have done here. We have done here psi P minus psi Q. Just we are following this, this derivation only we are following. Okay. So what is the ultimate expression? Ultimate expression is this one. Okay, when the power lines are transposed. Now we can understand under balanced condition, this one equal to 0. So the flux linkage in the communication lines is exactly equal to 0. But if harmonics are present for third harmonic, for second, fourth, etc., this is again 0, but for third harmonic this is not 0, they are in the same phase. So some flux linkage will be always be there due to if the third harmonic is present. So some voltage will always be induced if third harmonic is present. So power line transposition is ineffective if current is unbalanced or contains harmonics. If it is unbalanced, then also IIB plus IC is not equal to 0. Now let us see what happens if the telephone lines are transposed. See, the power lines are like this. Telephone lines first half cycle, this is occupying position X, conductor 1 is occupying position X, conductor 2 occupying position Y. In the next half cycle, conductor X occupying position, conductor 2 occupying position 1, conductor 1 occupying position Y. 2 occupying position X, conductor 1 occupying position Y. So similar, exactly similar way we find out what is Psi1, we find out what is Psi2, and Psi2, Psi1 means actually this is for first position, this is for the second position. So considering both the position will have half of Psi1 plus Psi2. This one actually we have done all those Psi1 minus Psi2 like that. Here this Psi1 does not mean it is of communication conductor 1. It means the position, the total flux linkage in the conductors due to in position 1. This is the total flux linkage in position 2. So considering the average, it will be Psi1 plus Psi2 by 2. And you can understand if we consider Psi1 plus Psi2, what will happen? These will all cancel out. You can understand this dx, here denominator dx, here denominator dy, here numerator dy. So all will cancel and that will become equal to 0. So no induced EMF even if power line is unbalanced or contains harmonics. Okay. But some small voltage would always be there because the transposition cannot be completely symmetric. Clear? Sometimes very often the question comes. Okay. So you must understand why the transposition of power lines is not effective always, and the communication of transposition of power lines is not always effective. Transmission of communication line is required. Okay. Now electromagnetic effect is over. We'll discuss some problems. Now let us find out the electrostatic effect. The electrostatic induction, what we have considered, you know the electrostatic effect, that capacitance calculation. Yes.
হ্যালো ম্যাম, হ্যাঁ ওই
Hello.
আপনি ম্যাম যে লাস্ট কেস যেটা একবার যে বললেন ওখানটা একবার যাবেন, মানে লাস্ট কেস যেটা বললেন ওই তিনটে হরাইজন্টাল ছিল আর যে তার উপরে যে দুটো হরাইজন্টাল ছিল। হ্যাঁ ম্যাম, ওখানে কি যে ট্রান্সপজিশনটা যে হচ্ছে না তো, মানে ওটা নিচের কেসটাতে। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, এখানে ম্যাম যে ট্রান্সপজিশনটা তো হচ্ছে না, মানে এখানে ম্যাম যে পাওয়ার লাইনগুলোর যে হচ্ছে না, তাই তো? মানে যে কমিউনিকেশন
পাওয়ার লাইন একই রকম আছে। হ্যাঁ, পাওয়ার লাইনটা আমি ফিক্স রেখে দিয়েছি। কমিউনিকেশন ফার্স্ট প্রথম হাফ ডিসটেন্স এটা করলাম, সেকেন্ড হাফ ডিসটেন্স এটা করলাম। ঠিক আছে? ধরো একটা লাইন 100 কিলোমিটার, সেটাতে বা 50 কিলোমিটার, সেটাতে কি হবে, আমি 25 কিলোমিটার এরকম রাখবো কমিউনিকেশন লাইন, তারপরের 25 কিলোমিটার এরকম করে দেবো। ঠিক আছে? ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালি ইনডিউসড হলেও অ্যাভারেজ টোটাল ট্রান্সপোজিশনটা কনসিডার করলে অ্যাভারেজ যেটা হবে সেটা 0 হয়ে যাবে।
ওকে ম্যাম। আচ্ছা ম্যাম, যে ট্রান্সপজিশনটা কি যে ট্রায়াঙ্গেলের মতো করে থাকলে মানে ওই সময় তাহলে ইউজ করব, না এমনি এরকম মানে হচ্ছে এরকম যে ভার্টিক্যালি থাকলে বা যে হরাইজন্টালি থাকলে ইউজ করব না?
না, কমিউনিকেশন লাইনে তো দুটো কন্ডাক্টর শুধু, সেটা দুটো কন্ডাক্টর তো কমিউনিকেশন লাইনে, সেটা তোমার এইভাবে থাকুক আর উপর নিচে থাকুক।
না, যে পাওয়ার লাইনের কথা বলছি আর কি, মানে ওই যে
পাওয়ার লাইনের জেনারেলি আমরা থ্রি ফেজই ধরি। পাওয়ার লাইনে কি হবে, পাওয়ার লাইনের প্রত্যেকটা পজিশন এগুলো কিন্তু ইকুয়াল নয়, ইকুয়াল আঁকা হয়েছে, এগুলো একটাও ইকুয়াল নয়। প্রত্যেকটা পজিশন যেন একবার করে ওরা নেয়, সেটাই দেখতে হবে, আর কিছু নয়। তিনটে পজিশনে যেন তিনটে কন্ডাক্টরকে রাখা হয় অ্যাট ইকুয়াল ডিস্টেন্সেস অ্যাপার্ট।
ওকে ম্যাম।
বুঝতে পেরেছো না? তোমার কোশ্চেনটা অন্য ছিল।
হ্যাঁ, না ম্যাম, আমি যে লাস্ট কেসটা যেটা বললাম ওখানে হচ্ছে যে এবিসি গুলো যে নিজেদের মধ্যে যে কোনো রকম হচ্ছে ওই চেঞ্জ করছে না যে, তাই তো? মানে
হ্যাঁ, মানে এবিসিডি গুলো চেঞ্জ করার দরকার হচ্ছে না কমিউনিকেশন লাইনটা যদি চেঞ্জ করি, ঠিক আছে? কিন্তু এবিসি গুলো তো চেঞ্জ করার দরকার, ইন্টারফারেন্সের জন্য দরকার নেই, কিন্তু আমাদের তো ট্রান্সপোজিশন করা হয় যাতে অ্যাভারেজ ভ্যালুস গুলো এক থাকে। এখানে আর দুটো একসাথে করে দেখানো হয়নি, এট এ টাইম এটা একবার এটা ট্রান্সপোজিশন হয়েছে, আরেকবার ওটা ট্রান্সপোজিশন।
ওকে ওকে
দেখা হচ্ছে কোনটা বেশি এফেক্টিভ ইন দিস কেস, in interference context of view. Okay,
ওকে ম্যাম, ক্লিয়ার।
আচ্ছা, এবার ইলেকট্রোস্ট্যাটিক যেটা সেটা হচ্ছে, this is also very simple because these derivations we have already discussed in details, so this will not discuss in details how they are coming. You please go through your last class notes. What is done, you know the method of image conductors. If there is one conductor A, here we have considered only one conductor. Actually 3 conductors are there in 3-phase line, the power conductors, but for simplicity we have considered one conductor. Let us see what happens. This is the power conductor carrying current IA. Okay, so the charge will be in this conductor, so the charge is Q. So similar type of image conductor will be there at a distance, same distance below the ground A dash, having the charge minus Q. Okay, so then we have considered any point X at a distance, any point say P at a distance X from the conductor. Okay, not P is shown here. Let us find any point, say this is the point K. Okay, at a distance X from this current carrying conductor. We'll find out now the field intensity at this point. Okay, so the field intensity will occur due to charge, this charge Q and this charge minus Q, both you have to consider. Okay, and this distance, the current carrying conductor is at a distance h from the ground, and so this is also at a distance h below the ground. So what is the distance from this point to this conductor A dash? It must be 2h minus x. Okay, so the electric field intensity at a point situated at a distance x from the center of the conductor is given by Q by 2 pi epsilon 0 x, because this is the formula for electric field intensity, minus of minus Q 2 pi epsilon 2h minus x. Okay, because it is in the opposite sign, so minus of minus Q, it is carrying charge minus Q, it becomes this one. Now we consider, now what is the potential at this point A? For this point A, you have to integrate first the distance from itself, then we have to consider this point R, up to what distance from the ground we are considering, because VA is the potential of conductor A with respect to the ground. So X is actually this point, so it is integration of this EX from R to H. So EX is this one, so you integrate this one, you will get this value. So what is this? It is the potential of conductor A with respect to the ground, where H is the height of the conductor from the ground. Now let us consider, this is the power line conductor. Let us consider a communication line conductor P is placed here. So what will be the voltage induced in this communication line conductor due to the charge present in this conductor? Okay, so what is that? That formula is also exactly same. You have to use the same formula, this one. Okay, exactly this one formula. So Q by 2 pi epsilon 0 they have taken outside. So integration will be DAP. Now the conductor is this one. We are concerned with this communication conductor. So in the so we'll integrate in the from its distance from the current carrying conductor to the distance from itself to the from the current carrying conductor to the ground. So in the denominator you will have the distance of the concerned communication conductor from the current carrying conductor A, and in the numerator you have to find out the distance of the current carrying of the charge, we will say charge here, charged conductor from the ground. Okay, so PA is actually the potential of conductor P with respect to ground. So you integrate and it will be like this one. Okay, now you find out what is PA. PA you find out with respect to VA, because VA it should be known. VA, VB, VC, it should be known. That is the voltage of these conductors. So if you can find out this VPA in terms of the voltage of all the conductors, then you can find out what is VPA. So expressing this one with respect to VA. So Q by 2 pi epsilon 0, you replace Q by 2 pi epsilon 0 by VA by this one. So you will get this one. So this is the potential of P with respect to the potential due to the charge in conductor A. Similarly, the potential in conductor P due to the conductors B and C can be found out. You have to put here VB, you have to put here VC, and then you have to write here D, BP, CP like that. Okay. So you can easily find out what is VPA, what is VPB, what is VPC. Okay, it will be clear if we consider some examples. Let us consider these examples and it will be clear. See what is given, this type of transmission line is given. Okay, this is the conductor, communication line conductor. The distances are given and the height from the ground. See, height from the ground is required only you want to find out the electrostatic effect. Okay. Now what is given here? For this problem, all the distances are given. Horizontal distance given 0.6 meter. Vertical distance between the power line and communication line is 1 meter. This vertical distance 1 meter. Find the magnitude of the voltage induced in the telephone circuit due to electromagnetic induction only. Okay. If the power lines carry a balanced current of 300 ampere. So each is carrying 300 balanced current of 300 ampere like this. IC. So you need not consider the height from the ground. You are asked to find out the electromagnetic induction only. So you have to use this formula only. See, this is very simple. Directly you can find out this psi by using this formula. Though you have to show the steps. You have to first write this one, then this one. So ultimately the formula you have to write. This is the formula. Actually, this is exactly the formula I showed there. Okay. That formula, equation 7.2, you substitute. All the values are known. You have to find out the distance. Maybe you will require the distance AQ. Maybe you will require the distance BP. So all the distances you find out. Okay, they have shown some distances here. And you can write, find out psi. Then it is very easy to find out the voltage induced, 2 pi f psi. Now you are asked for the same problem. What you are asked you are asked to find out the electromagnetic induction when that is fault. Okay, single line to fault in phase A and the fault current is 2000 amperes. So the balanced current was only 300. That current and find out the voltage, because due to other currents, the voltage will be very small. So we use this value. You can find out this one and two. When the normal condition it is negligible, but under the fault condition it is assuming a sufficient value. Then yes.
In the last question, you considered the phase B, so then also the value will be...
Yes, some change is there. You can consider. They have shown that considering that phase, this is the value. Consider all the phases. This is just shown because all other phases add with vocal value. It will almost be equal to this one, but if all the values, see, fault current in phase A is 2000, fault in phase B and phase C 300 under balance condition, because fault means, ground fault means all the currents will change. If all these in other phases are not given, you have to consider this one only. Understood?
Okay.
Now second effect, electrostatic effect. Now find out for the same problem. Okay, the power line conductors have a diameter of 4.15. Now see, you have to use this formula. See, we are using this formula. VPA, this formula. Okay, so you have to find out the distance. VA is you take the phase values. Okay, so VA is known to you, and these values you can calculate. All are given. So VPA is given. VPB, don't forget to consider minus 120. Okay. So here VPC is given because these are all balanced. Under balanced condition you are finding out. Okay. Then you cannot add because these are different phases. So you find out VA, VPA, VPB, VPC. That's all. Okay. Now the potential of the total potential you find out by, because this is the potential of conductor. If you are asked to find out the potentials due to individual conductors, you keep it like this. And if you are asked to find out total potential P, then you add the effect of all the conductors, VPA, VPB, VPC. And so it will be like this. Okay. You please verify and check it. Next, another problem, last problem is shown. I think this is the last problem. Oh, another problem is this is same. Okay. This problem is shown. The configuration is like this. These are that we are telling vertical. These P and Q are arranged vertically. But the way of solving will be exactly same. Only the difference will be you have to find the different distances. Okay, distances BP, AP, CP, BQ, AQ, CQ, all these things you have to find out. Okay. You need not show the image conductor. You can just write the formula that I have told you. This you can just write the formula, and this is just like this. Okay. So sometimes some value may not be given, may not be shown in the figure. It will be given here. So what is the question? Calculate the voltage induced in the communication line due to electromagnetic effect. So electromagnetic effect, you find out psi and find out. If you are asked to find out the electrostatic effect, you have to find out VAP, VBP like that. Probably here electrostatic effect, the same problem they asked to find out the electrostatic effect. So they have shown to find out VPA, VPB, VPC, and they have shown this one also, this much force. Okay. Now how to reduce this reduction, how to make the reduction of interference? It is possible only by transposition. It is possible maybe to separate, keep a certain distance between the communication and the power lines, which is not always possible. So transposition is the method. Okay, and there is one term you will find here, barrel. What is barrel? The length along one complete set of transposition is known as barrel. Suppose that is 300 kilometer transmission line. It is divided into three parts, say 100 kilometer. In 100 kilometer, the lines are transposed so that each occupy three positions. So that 100 kilometer line will be called one barrel. That 100 kilometer length. Okay. However, though by transposition it can be reduced, however, a voltage due to electrostatic induction will still exist between each wire and the arc. The insulators of the communication line must be capable of withstanding this voltage. This is not a very high value. Okay. Okay. I think, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
So I think I have completed the syllabus, but you have to go through any book. Okay, also my class notes, that will help you, but you have to read thoroughly. Whether the examination it will be offline or online, it should not be a issue. Okay, ultimately you have to learn it. So I will again provide you the class notes. I will not take any class from next week. You first go through a syllabus thoroughly, and if you find any confusion anywhere, you will tell me, and I will arrange one Google Meet. You can contact me in WhatsApp or you can call me anytime. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you all of you, and my request, please study. Don't waste any time. Please study. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you everybody.